have the option to pick the refreshed Atto 3 from an external perspective by its new BYD back badging. While there is likewise another embellishing component on the C point of support which is presently completed in dark, as opposed to the intelligent silver chrome of the pre-update. Vitally, it likewise gets mainland tires now. Furthermore, for the people who have been craving for a dark BYD Atto 3, your desire has been conceded, to the detriment of the seriously engaging parkour red and woodland green completions. Inside, the trim tone relies upon the outside choice you select. Universe Dark and Rock Dim both get the beat-up inside finish, while Ski White and Ride Blue get a white and blue inside finish. There's likewise a greater touchscreen media framework, not that it felt excessively little in the final remaining one, and indeed, it actually pivots. Thus, we should talk about whether the progressions have been advantageous and what it resembles to drive, as well. The adaptation tried here is the more costly 2024 BYD Atto 3 Broaden Reach, completed a major trend dark paint finish, normally. Valuing for the BYD Atto 3 is down $3,512 contrasted with the pre-update model. 2024 BYD Atto 3 Standard range $44,499. 2024 BYD Atto 3 Expanded range $47,499. The costs above are list estimating. Your drive-away cost might differ significantly, contingent upon which state you live in. Variety choices? Ski White is the main tone accessible at no expense. Surf Blue, Rock Dark, and Universe Dark are all $700. With regards to the inside of the BYD Atto 3, you will either cherish it or can't stand it. It absolutely isn't like anything more out there from different brands, with a diverse plan that could somehow be depicted as odd, unusual, appalling, or intriguing. In any case, however screwy as it very well might be, essentially it's not boring and stark like a few opponents, correct? As referenced above, there is another beat-up inside trim, which is fitted to the dark and dark painted forms of this vehicle. Notwithstanding, the current two-tone white/cream and blue of the current model carries onto the white and blue outside paint decisions. Regardless of which one you pick, you actually get red funneling on the seats, in excess of a couple of bold bins and plan components, and indeed, there are guitar strings on the entryways. All things considered, they're intended to be entryway pocket elasticated lashes, however you can really play them like a guitar, which is something decent to do when you're exhausted having a difficult time. All things considered, for somebody who could have just a little to a greater extent a steady lodge plan in what is generally a harmless-looking SUV from an external perspective, it very well may be excessive. The other enormous point of convergence is the pivoting media screen, which is in a real sense a much greater point of convergence currently, having been leveled up from a 12.8-inch to another 15.6-inch unit. You can in any case turn it 90 degrees to be representation format in the event that you need. There's a button on the directing wheel or on the home bar at the lower part of the screen. While the representation design may be ideal for a portion of the vehicle's controls and the local SAT and AV framework, in the event that you're like me and very much prefer to associate up to Apple CarPlay, which should be possible remotely now, then you want the screen in scene mode. There are menus upon menus for changes in accordance with the vehicle's controls, and there are no buttons or dials to make things a piece simpler while you're attempting to change things moving. There is a voice control framework, be that as it may, and when you get the hang of the controls for the environment control or the seat warming, it's quite simple to make do. It is a cycle weird for there to be a particularly immense media screen, yet such a small driver data show. It's a 5.0-inch unit, and you cooperate with it utilizing the controlling wheel. However, dissimilar to other BYD models, it doesn't offer the ability to change the fan speed or temperature through that screen. It additionally looks abnormal to me, as well. A portion of different idiosyncrasies and elements incorporate the adjusted entryway handles with encompassing drove lighting coordinated into them, as well as the impossible-to-miss-looking air vents that have a wonderful material movability to them. The Lodge is a really smart spot concerning capacity and convenience, with a useful degree of Lodge stowage including cup holders, a major covered console region, an extra stockpiling plate down underneath the span segment between the front seats, as well as a remote telephone charging plate. There's a glove box as well, and you don't have to open it with a button on the screen as you do in a Tesla. Concerning secondary lounge solace and space, it's really respectable for a youthful family. This is a 5-seater SUV that is about a similar size as a Mitsubishi ASX, yet it offers more second-line space than you could track down in something bigger, similar to a Foreigner. At 182 centimeters, or 6 feet 0 inches tall with the driver's seat set for me, I could find a place with more than adequate knee room, bunches of headroom, even with the standard all-encompassing sunroof, and barely enough foot space as well. There's a level floor, so on the off chance that you really want to fit 3 adults across the back, you ought to have the option to. However, ensure the littlest one goes in the center, since it's a piece squeezed. Concerning youngsters, there are ISOFIX focuses in the seats by the window and 3 top ties. In addition to the conveniences are dealt with. There are multi-pocket compartments on the seatbacks, bottle holders in the entryways, with surprises, and sets of cup holders in a flip-down armrest. Backseat riders likewise get a bunch of directional air vents, and there are USB charging choices as well. For the mums and fathers out there who end up frequently stacking young people in or out in obscurity, observe that there are still great lighting choices regardless of the reality. It has a major, all-encompassing glass rooftop. Boot space is likewise good. The freight region has a flexible floor level, meaning you can either have it level with the boot lip, which may be convenient assuming you're stacking weighty things in, or you can drop it down to boost limit. On the whole, there is a limit of 440 liters with the back seats upstanding, which is effectively enough for a pram and a couple of knapsacks, or a fortnightly shop. You can likewise crease the back seats down to get 1340L of limit, assuming you want it. While there is no extra wheel under the boot floor, it accompanies a tire fix pack, and there's a stowage space for links under the floor, as well. However, oddly, regardless of the reality, there is space for it. The Atto 3 doesn't have a front trunk stockpiling box. It has an electric back end, which is exceptionally convenient, yet it's not one of those cunning kick-to-open ones. What's more, further, while there is keyless section, there is only one button on the driver's entryway to make that work. Or you can utilize the NFC card to tap on the mirror lodging to open the vehicle. Different vehicles have stroll-up closeness opening, like the Renault Megane E-Tech. The BYD Atto 3 has a front-mounted super durable magnet simultaneous electric engine delivering 150 kilowatts and 310 newton meters. It has a solitary speed transmission and is front-wheel drive. There are 2 decisions of battery. The standard reach has a 49.94 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate LFP unit, while the drawn-out reach has a 60.48 kilowatt-hours LFP pack. LFP science is frequently viewed as more alluring than different types of science because of its realized strength under rehashed full charging. The lengthy reach is a piece heavier, 1,750 kilograms versus 1,680 kilograms, yet is vary from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, as per BYD, with the game mode prepared heavier model accomplishing the accomplishment in a guaranteed 7.3 seconds, rather than 7.9s for the less expensive model. As far as charging, the lengthy reach model has AC charging at a most extreme pace of 7 kilowatts, more slow than certain opponents, and that implies an evident re-energize season of just shy of 9.0 hours, assuming you have a 7 kilowatts wall box. For DC quick charging, the standard reach model is appraised 70 kilowatts, while the drawn-out reach's most extreme DC rate is 88 kilowatts. One way or another, the Sort 2 CCS charger ought to finish 10 to 80% in around 35 minutes. The standard reach is appraised to 345 kilometers of EV driving in light of WLTP testing, and the lengthy reach ups that to 410 kilometers. For some, it will be cash very much spent to get into the drawn-out reach. The authority energy utilization figure for the Atto 3 is 16.0 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers, which is fair yet not astounding for a more modest EV with single-engine drive. On test, I saw a showed return of 16.8 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers for the drawn-out reach, and I was on target to accomplish a scope of 380 kilometers across a blend of driving, including cooler daytime testing. I in a real sense said in my last survey that what I figure I'd do first in the event that I was purchasing an Atto 3 is go directly to a tire shop and put some better elastic on. That is on the grounds that past renditions of this model had MapBook Batman tires, and they let down the drive-in sight. I was in good company to even out this analysis, and it appears BYD has focused. Presently, the Atto 3 has mainland Eco Contact 6Q elastic 235/50/R18, and the tires truly do have a striking effect on the drive insight. It's interesting, you never acknowledge how much a change a decent arrangement of tires can make until you've driven a vehicle with bad tires. There's a superior consistency to the controlling at lower speeds, a more sure-footed feel to advance at pace, and less inclination for the front tires to screech from a stop when you plant your foot. They're not Connie Sport Contact tires, yet they unquestionably offer a constant inclination out and about, remembering for wet weather conditions driving. And keeping in mind that this mightn't be the most ideal decision for somebody who needs a better time EV drive, take a gander at the back tire drive Cupra Conceived or MG4 in the event that is you. Yet for the segment this is attempting to engage, the BYD Atto 3's driving habits are entirely satisfactory. The guiding itself is satisfactory in a blend of driving circumstances, with a delicacy at low paces that might require a digit of additional arm work contingent upon which mode you're in. I found it unsurprising enough at low speed despite everything sure at pace, be that as it may. Perhaps of the best thing about this vehicle is its phenomenal high-goal and compass view camera framework, which is standard in the two models, and makes leaving way simpler than it could somehow or another have been. There are front, side, curb, back, 3D above, and clear body sees, and an expanded reality one that can put the vehicle in its environmental factors. With respect to the suspension, it isn't exactly as unobtrusively lively or superbly adjusted as the previously mentioned RWD EVs. However, it's sensibly all-around controlled in corners, and while taking a different path regardless of some body roll. Ride solace is satisfactory, and keeping in mind that the wheels can send knocks to the lodge in certain cases, it's never upsetting or naughty in feeling. The drawn-out reach has a game drive mode, as well, and keeping in mind that it's not quite as quick as a few different EVs, it actually pushes you back into your seat. However, in more steady, typical driving the speed increase was adequate, effectively offering sufficient force to surpass slow traffic effortlessly, or to move away from a standing beginning in a coral-free way. The slowing down isn't similar to a few different EVs. It actually has a regenerative stopping mechanism with various modes to change the emphaticness of that activity, yet there's no single pedal mode like in a Nissan Leaf or a Tesla Model 3. In those vehicles you can drive just utilizing the gas pedal and never contact the brakes on the off chance that you focus on your environmental factors. With the Atto 3, you actually need to stir things up around town pedal consistently. Those new tires have likewise apparently further developed how much outside sound interruption that comes into the lodge. I found it more quieted on the roadway, even on coarse chip streets. The dynamic well-being frameworks may not be as everybody would prefer, and the crisis path-keeping framework is a piece pushy on occasion as well. Fortunately, it's as yet drivable with the framework left on. In the event that you can't be tried jumping through menus to cripple it each time you drive. In the event that you're spending the $3,000 extra for the drawn-out reach model, don't go anticipating additional stuff. You get similar standard hardware in the two models. 2024 BYD Atto 3 highlights: 18-inch alloy wheels, Continental tires, new, tire pressure monitoring, tire repair kit, roof rails, panoramic sunroof with electric slide and anti-trap function, power tailgate, heated and power folding side mirrors, LED headlights, auto high beam, LED daytime running lights, LED rear lights, 15.6-inch rotating touchscreen infotainment system, new, 5.0-inch digital instrument cluster, DAB+ digital radio, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, voice assistant, satellite navigation, Bluetooth connectivity, 8-speaker sound system, USB-A port and USB-C port in center console, USB-A port and USB-C port in rear, wireless phone charger, 12V socket, keyless entry and start, dual zone air conditioning, heat pump, PM 2.5 air filter, one-touch up and down windows with anti-pinch function, multicolor gradient ambient lighting, LED front reading light, LED rear side reading light, luggage compartment light, artificial leather upholstery, 6-way power adjustable driver's seat, 4-way power adjustable front passenger seat, heated front seats, domestic 3-pin plug AC charger, tire repair kit. The other difference between grades is DC fast charging capacities. The Atto 3 standard range has a maximum DC charging rate of 70 kilowatts. while the extended range can do 88 kilowatts. The Atto 3 achieved the maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating based on 2022 testing. It scored 91% for adult occupant protection, 84% for child occupant protection, 69% for vulnerable road user, and 80% for safety assist. Standard safety equipment includes autonomous emergency braking, AEB, pedestrian detection, cyclist detection, junction detection, front collision warning, rear collision warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic assist, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control with stop/go, surround view camera, drive recorder, front and rear parking sensors, tire pressure monitoring system, front and rear seatbelt reminder, ISOFIX child restraint anchorage points, outer rear seats, front side, full-length curtain, and center airbags. The underlying thought of offering a light, overhauling choice for purchasers didn't stick, so there's simply a comprehensive covered cost adjusting plan. There's a free exam at 90 days per 5,000 kilometers, then it's like clockwork /20,000 km, which could appear to be extreme, yet there are less moving parts in an EV, so it ought to, in principle, be more equipped for adapting to longer stretches. That works out to a yearly normal of $298.75 each year, which is still significantly not exactly most ICE SUVs, and you won't track down numerous with 20,000 kilometer spans. With regards to guarantee cover, there is a 6-year /150,000 km guarantee for the vehicle. However, you want to observe that not all things fall under that guarantee cover. The electric engine, high voltage gathering, and engine regulator have a guarantee front of 8 years or 150,000 kilometers. In any case, past that, there's an 8-year /160,000 km guarantee for the foothold battery. The lights, tire pressure checking module, suspension, rotating conjunctors have a guarantee front of 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, and the 12V battery has a 1-year /12,000 km guarantee. In the interim, the guarantee for climate control system channels, button battery, brake cushions, grip plates, tires, wiper cutting edge gathering, bulbs and breakers is only a half-year or 10,000 kilometers. A lower value, a superior drive, and a greater screen. It's a recipe for progress, commonly. The reality of the situation will surface at some point, whether the brand should hone its deal much further as an ever-increasing number of EVs show up on the scene. In any case, for what it's worth, the BYD Atto 3 is a tremendous choice for the people who need a reduced SUV that is moderately simple to live with, offers a good measure of reach, and tech and gear that some ICE models just don't come near.